will the PS2 game gray market ever take off like N64 and GameCube have, or just the PS2 JRPGs? I think he means, I guess, aftermarket sales, or I guess used sales when he says gray market.
To a degree, the PS2 had a really wide variety of games, and it
big
was
library.
Yeah, big library.
Most sports and racing, but whatever. It's like N64.
It came out after the PlayStation 1, obviously, and the Dreamcast, but those were very interesting periods in gaming because there was a lot of importing going on. A lot of importing of more interesting titles, wackier titles and things like that. And in the PS2 era, you got a lot of those. So it's not just... yes, the RPGs are going to be very popular, but there are also things like Klonoa 2s and I can't remember the name. I have them and I've played them and they're fun. But like the Crisis games where you're escaping a flood or an earthquake, and they're very graphically they're very basic, but the gameplay is very fun. You've got your things like your Fatal Frames and all your horror games that gained a huge following on the PS2. There's a lot of interesting titles on the PS2 that I think are going to be big with collectors. But like the PlayStation 1 before it, there's also going to be 3/4 of it that no one ever gives a fuck about ever again. But it's not. But I guess my main point here is just that it's not just going to be JRPGs.
We haven't really seen PlayStation completionist collectors catch on the way they have with Nintendo or Super Nintendo, have we?
I think we actually talked about it once near the very beginning of the podcast, or maybe we just talked about it in general because there was that one weird demo disc that was only handed out at like one basketball game that was going for a ton of money online at one point. I think there are some PlayStation completionist collectors. But yeah, it's not
nearly to the extent is though.
Give it 5 years, maybe there will be. This is what we always say
because the uncommon games aren't worth that much still.
Some of them can be, but you're right. A lot of them don't go over $150. Let's put it that way.